Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Oriel Morrison-Higgins. I'm here today with Simon Adams, the Managing Director of Sentinel Exploration. Simon, great to have you with us. Welcome.
Thanks, Oriel. Nice to be here.
So Simon, for investors who are new to Sentinel, can you tell us a little bit about the company?
Yes, certainly. Sentinel's been around since 2021, but we were an unlisted public company for a majority of that time. A group of us, mainly driven by our geo, sat around in COVID finding a few tenements and opportunities. We raised a small amount of money, around about 800,000 through friends and family, and went about doing real grassroots exploration on these relatively small tenements. We then were able to dispose of one of the larger tenements that we had to Critica, which was a rare earth opportunity. From that, we generated around about $1.25 million of consideration. And with that, for those funds, we've put in some soil programs at the various projects, the main ones being Marda East and the Carbine project in the Wheat Belt. And we've also put in some drilling. So we've been making sure that all that money goes into the ground, very low overheads, and that's really been the model up until now, and it continues to be that. So relatively small company that's got a small range of very focused assets, mainly around gold, a little bit of copper, and a little bit of rare earths.
So I wanted to talk about those projects in just a moment, but first of all, you've just recently listed, in fact in April this year, on the National Stock Exchange of Australia. What does that milestone mean for you as an explorer, and what does it allow you to do that you couldn't do before?
Yeah, listen, it's a great milestone for us. We wanted to ensure that our shareholders did have a path to monetization or other shareholders to buy in, investors to buy in, and existing shareholders to sell out. We also needed to raise a little bit more money. The pathway to the NSX was a little bit unusual, and the reason we went down that path was twofold. One was that we didn't want to have to go and raise $5 million and dilute the shareholders that were there already. We didn't need that amount of money because we have some good reserves as we stand. We also found that the NSX were extremely helpful in that listing process. They made we did from the decision to go on to a listing with NSX in the first week of January. We then listed in April, relatively short time. Approximately or less than 50% of the normal cost of I think we spent about 120,000 all up, including all the costs to get that listing. And then the third reason we wanted to go onto NSX was that we didn't want a flight of the 300 plus, probably 400 shareholders that tend to come on as to create spread, then deciding that they were going to exit early on. We believe these assets that we've got are good assets. We want people to be in there for the journey. Obviously NSX doesn't have a high liquidity at this stage, but we've got to get the story out there, and like all other small cap exploration companies, let people know what we're doing, who we are, and where they can find us, and I think NSX has certainly been very helpful in making sure that the pathway for investors and for ourselves is very smooth, and we're very pleased with the outcome that we've achieved.
So your flagship project, you mentioned them before, but your flagship, of course, is Marda East in Western Australia, your gold project there. You have done some drilling there. You've had your second drilling campaign at Marda East. Can you give us a little bit of an update of where you're at with that project?
Yeah, sure. So we did our maiden drilling program at Marda last November. Marda was discovered off some soil anomalies done back in the early 2000s. Adam Anderson was fossicking around and saw some hits there for gold that looked interesting. We followed that up with our own soil programs, did some sort of slightly different techniques to what had been done in the past, UFF soils, and found that there was definitely an anomaly there that was worth drilling. So in November last year, with cash that we already had in hand, we went about our first program. We drilled 29 holes, and for around about 3,300 meters, and from that, 16 of those 29 had some really nice gold anomalies. So with the money raised from the NSX listing, we raised 1.5 million at 20 cents. We were then straight into the second program, which started more or less the day we listed, and we've now done over 5,000 meters. The second tranche of assays is coming in, so we're starting to look at those results. We do need to go and collect some of the 1 meter split samples. We did 3 meter splits on the first round. So as soon as we've got those, hopefully that will lead us to what might be the next round of drilling later this year. We'll just work out where we need to expand the current drilling. This whole project was a virgin ground. We're not drilling around an existing pit or anything like that. So we're very interested in making sure or finding out what might be there, so we can hopefully come up with a resource at some stage.
You do have some additional credibility, don't you? Because the region that you're drilling in, you're alongside companies like Golden Horse and Lewin. This gives you additional confidence, I'm sure.
Absolutely, that whole Southern Cross belt is very active at the moment. Lewin Metals acquired the Marda mine from Ramelius, and they're continuing to expand their resource base there. That's only 9 or less than 9 kilometres from where we are. Further to the east is Golden Horse and a number of other projects in that greenstone belt. So there's a lot of activity around there. There's a number of mills. We've been approached by companies to make some initial inquiries as to what we're doing and invite us to potentially put ore through their mills if we get to that point. Obviously, we're a ways off that at this stage, but certainly keen to get to that point. And so I think it's very active. Forestania Resources has acquired a lot of ground around there. So there is definitely some transactions to go. We'll see where this takes us, but we're very keen to work with other people in the area, and to know that activity is happening is very encouraging.
Absolutely. Just on the bigger Sentinels story, you also have other projects, of course, across Western Australia, including battery minerals. Tell us what your focus area is beyond Marda East.
Yeah, so the focus, as you say, is Marda East, but we do have a number of other smaller projects. Some of them were recently pegged and still need to go through an approvals process. Probably the next largest and most drillable target is at Carbine Hills, which is near Quairading in the wheat belt. We have already done some drilling there. Had some reasonable gold hits which we can follow up on, but interestingly there's also a copper opportunity. So within this year, I think we will move there to put some more holes in the ground and try and chase up some of that copper anomaly that was drilled back some time ago by Anglo, and we're very keen to sort of expand that, but be very focused with what we've got. Make sure that Marda East gets as much attention and capital as it needs to see what's there. It's a good opportunity for us. But those other expanded opportunities, the other one that we have is we're a joint venture with Forestania down in the Kirrup area. There's some lithium and gold down there. We then have some other targets sort of up in the gold fields, again mainly focused on gold at this stage. Some of those are going to be easier to get onto than others, but we continue to look around, and Adam does a great job in finding small targets that have been sort of lost in the detail of some old drilling and activities.
Simon, you're going to be busy. It sounds like. Lots of different things going on. What does the timeline look like from an investment perspective? What should investors be watching out for?
Yeah, so the news flow from here will be the Marda East drilling results. We hope to be able to, from these, now that we've got over 5,000 metres of drilling, put together some cross sections, start to understand what that looks like, and then work out where we drill from there. So there will definitely be another drilling program, probably in Q3. Bit of planning to be done there, and we're in the process of pegging a few prospecting licenses and exploration licenses at present. Again, they won't distract us from the focus of Marda. We may do some soil sampling over those and just see what we have. But there's obviously all the heritage and access approvals that are required for all of those. So again, that takes a little bit of time. But in the meantime, continue to be busy on Marda East. We need to understand that before we can make the next move as to where we put the next drilling.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Simon, we very much look forward to talking to you again in the next month or so.
Thanks very much, Oriel. I appreciate the time.